want to turn back to the partial government shutdown and its effect on federal workers. What are the potential long-term consequences of what's becoming kind of a regular occurrence, government shutdowns? Joining me now to discuss this and more, Congressman Andy Harris. He is a member of the House Committee on Appropriations. He is also the chairman of the House Freedom Caucus, and he is from the state of Maryland. Congressman Harris, welcome back to Washington Watch. Thanks for joining us.
Good to be with you, Tony.
So any daylight here that appears that an agreement might be reached? I know it's in the Senate. The House has done its work. It's over in the Senate. But what are you hearing?
Well, we're hearing nothing right now. Again, Chuck Schumer doubled down, saying these are common sense, as if a judicial warrant is common sense. That's might be common sense for an American citizen, but it's not the way you handle detention and deportation of illegal aliens. So it's not common sense. And again, these ICE officers are being doxxed. Their families are being threatened. Yes, they have to keep face coverings as long as the Antifa type demonstrators are going to dox them and their families. Again, if the Antifa demonstrators step back and say, we're not going to do that anymore, maybe we should consider it, but not until then. We're just not hearing that there's going to be a resolution anytime soon. All the workers got paid last Friday because it was a holiday weekend. So it'll be 2 weeks until the full force, is felt. So, for instance, the TSA officers will miss a paycheck about a week and a half from now. And I think then the pressure begins to build for the Democrats to say enough is enough. We're going to have to fund the Department of Homeland Security.
Now, I know the House is in recess, as is the Senate, but the Speaker told all the members before leaving that you're basically on a 48-hour notice. That is, if something does come back from the Senate, the members will be called back in to deal with that. Is that correct?
We were told that, but I tell you, as you get into the middle of the week, they're not going to call anybody back before the weekend. Again, partly because all the workers got paid last Friday. So I suspect that if we have any breakthrough, it would be next week, and hopefully before we hit the next payday at the end of next week.
I want to step back for just a moment and ask you a question, Dr. Harris. I completely acknowledge this is the Democrats. They're posturing. This is political posturing because, as we talked about multiple times on this program, they're targeting ICE. They're fully funded under the One Big Beautiful Bill, so it doesn't even affect that. It affects TSA workers. My concern, and I actually had this conversation over the weekend with the Speaker about, number one, I think these shutdowns show how divided our government is, how divided our country is ideologically. But at a certain point, you reach a dysfunction that it's going to be very difficult. I'm concerned that good employees, who we need good people in the Homeland Security because we want our country to be secure, that if this keeps occurring, that some of these folks are going to look elsewhere. You have that concern?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. That's why the House Freedom Caucus and Ron Johnson over in the Senate are pushing so hard for either the Shutdown Elimination Act or the Shutdown Fairness Act, something that doesn't allow these shutdowns to occur, where you have rolling continuing resolutions, maybe 2 weeks in duration, allowing you to conduct these negotiations, but keeping the government funded. I think Americans are going to be sick and tired of this, and I think that that's the solution. And I think we should seriously consider putting that into law this year.
I think that's a great idea. I did talk to Senator Johnson about that. Now, doesn't that also, to create more of a pressure, doesn't it decrease the funding just slightly, or does that keep this funding static?
Well, it depends on which approach you take. The bottom line is there are some approaches that say you should cut funding at 1% every month or so. But one of the bills that he has says, look, all the workers are going to go to work. They're going to do their job, but no grants can go out because those are not funded. So that might be the compromise that leads to enough pressure to continue a negotiation while you continue the basic functions of the government to go completely unaffected in the case of the need for a continuing resolution.
Is there any broader support? I mean, I know the Freedom Caucus is advancing this. Is there any broader support among the Republican conference for this measure?
Well, again, I don't know what's holding it up. We thought we had an agreement to attach it to one of the bills, the funding bills. I think that once these shutdowns, and again, this is the third one we've had in a short time frame, I think the public is getting tired of it, and we ought to listen to what the public wants.
What's the title of the bill again?
Well, it's either the Shutdown Elimination Act or the Shutdown Fairness Act. And again, they differ slightly in what's done, but the basic principle is no government functions are going to stop, except perhaps the funding of grants and monies flowing out of the government, but not to workers. All the workers go to work, they do their job. And again, that's really what's essential. Now, in this case, about 90% of the Department of Homeland Security employees, for obvious reasons, are considered essential. So it's only a very small percent that are furloughed this week, but it should be none. The bottom line is Congress should be able to keep the government open and funded.
I think, as you said, this becomes more frequent. That's what the American people, I think, want. They want government to function and, buy time for the parties to work out their differences. I think this is the best solution would be for the government to work effectively to get this done. But in lieu of that, when you've got people like Chuck Schumer and others determined to shut the government down, this would be the best approach. Just keep it moving until the negotiations can arrive at some consensus. Is your sense that not only is this affecting federal workers, but is it also decreasing the trust and confidence that the American people have in the federal government?
I think what it does is it erodes the trust and confidence as exists or may exist for Congress. This is Congress's job to keep the federal government funded. We don't do it, and again, there are ways around it. Tony, we should look at that Eliminate Shutdown Act, Shutdown Fairness Act. We should eliminate any shutdowns. Again, that should be the job of Congress, basic job of Congress.
Well, on the heels of this shutdown, I want to do all I can to help advance that, because I think it's something that these workers, these federal workers who are keeping us safe, I mean, this is one of the most vital agencies of the federal government, Department of Homeland Security, along with our nation's military. I mean, we should make sure that they and their families are compensated for the work they do. I mean, this is actually a kind of a biblical concept in Deuteronomy 24. You're not supposed to withhold wages for someone. So, Dr. Harris, let us know how we can help you. We certainly want to help advance this common sense piece of legislation.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll see you next week when Congress returns to town.
Thank you.